just suck a dick. If you like it, you like dick. If you don't like it, you don't like dick. And none of that means anything good or bad about you. Hey friends, it's motherfucking Pride Month. Once again, we have met each other in another June when the gays come out of the woodwork and you have to acknowledge them for 30 days. That is, of course, sarcasm because people who don't acknowledge gay people don't care about Pride Month, but the queers do. So a little bit about Pride Month, and then we're going to get into some nice queer content. Okay? We're going to talk about the gay hockey show. I'm really excited about it. This has been a hyperfocus of late, and I was thinking about talking about Heated Rivalry already on this week's episode, and then this morning, because of course I'm recording this on Wednesday again, you guys, because I cannot prep in advance right now because my brain is broken and I have a disease. Is ADHD a disease? Probably not. It's a disorder. I should just learn to live with it. Anyway, Pride Month. It's not about shoving your sexuality in other people's faces. It is about celebrating that we are alive. It is about being here and being out and who we are in a world that would rather we shut the fuck up and get back in the closet and don't talk about this kind of stuff out loud because it's unnatural and perverse. In fact, what is unnatural and perverse is trying to control your neighbor so hard that you will hurt them if they live differently than you. That's fucked up. Get right with yourself. Oh my God. Anyway, that's my Pride Month PSA. Pride started as a riot. Pride is still a riot. It's 2026. We arguably have had plenty of time in our human experience to learn and acknowledge the vast spectrum of human gender expression, sexuality, sexual orientation, all of that. In fact, I dare say most people in the world are bisexual, but most of those bisexuals will never know it because anytime they feel same-sex attraction, they beat themselves about it. And they shame it away. And like, honest to God, if we didn't have the hetero patriarchal state that we live in that just assumes straight is the norm, people would be so much more fluid and open and just not scared of their own sexualities. Dear God, you guys, you're making so much work for yourselves as homophobes. Just suck a dick. If you like it, you like dick. If you don't like it, you don't like dick. And none of that means anything good or bad about you. Ta-da! I hope that's my YouTube short. Okay, awesome. Let's jump into the gay hockey. So, a couple months ago, I would say, this woman, we'll call her, I don't know if she wants me to use her real name. What am I going to call her? Now I can't think of a code name. Doesn't matter. Jane. Jane is a regular in my office. Her daughter goes to therapy with the therapist who has an office like across the lobby from the tax office that I work in. So I see Jane every week. And our friendship started small, you know, like if her daughter wanted her to come into the session, she would look at me and be like, is it okay if I leave my stuff here? And I was like, yeah, it's totally okay. One, because I'm going to watch it and you're going to be fine. And two, because this is like a pretty safe location. I have never seen anything get stolen here at all ever. So that happens like a few times, you know, I watch her stuff. She runs to the bathroom. And then we start talking about stuff, you know, making conversation. And then eventually, I guess we hit the threshold where she's like, okay, I'm going to bring it up. And then she goes, have you watched Heated Rivalry? And I was like, no, not yet, actually. And I had like just started hearing about it. It was when it was like starting to like explode. I think it came out in December officially. So like the winter, it was getting its like kind of core fans and it was pulling more and more people into the black hole vortex of Heated Rivalry. And also as a voracious romance reader, I can't believe I hadn't come across it at all. But this is my first introduction to it, is seeing vague rumblings on the internet about Heated Rivalry. And then Jane in the reception area at my work being like, you have to watch it because I have to talk about it with you. And I'll be goddamned if that didn't work on me. a lot of times people will recommend something and I'm like, I'll put it on the list. And maybe I do put it on the list, my friends, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get to it anytime soon. But she asked every week, have you watched it yet? Have you watched it yet? And I kept telling Brennan, we got to watch Heated Rivalry. We got to watch Heated Rivalry. And so finally we get to Heated Rivalry. And I watched the first episode, maybe the first two. And Brennan is like, I don't really get the appeal. Like it's fine, but it seems like it's mostly sex. There's not even much hockey in it at all. And I'm giggling because I'm like, it's a romance. Like, it's not a documentary about hockey where two guys also fell in love. It's a story about two guys falling in love and they go to work and their workplace is hockey. So like, if I'm reading a romance with a protagonist who works in a bookstore, we just need to see a little bit of the bookstore. Right? I don't have to see her shelving the books and ordering new books and putting in purchase orders from the publishing house and deciding what's on sale that week. I see the relevant parts of her job that relate to the love story I am reading. And I think that was a little bit lost on my beloved sweet, sweet boy, Brennan, who doesn't really consume romance. Like rom-coms, kind of. We only got through New Girl because eventually he convinced himself they live in rom-com world. That's why they act like this. Because in New Girl, there's a whole lot of bad communication and like kind of willfully, like kind of silly miscommunications. And it's for comedy because New Girl is a romantic comedy. Heated Rivalry is a slow burn enemies to lovers. Like these two people don't want to love each other and they are falling in love. And it is a story about trusting love in a way that I think we haven't seen lately. They can't help falling in love. And a lot of us out here in 2026, if we're like, there are so many reasons why I should not and cannot be with you, even if you have all the feelings, man, we really put our foot in it a lot of the time. We're scared. And the characters in Heated Rivalry are also scared. They have legitimate reasons to be afraid of this relationship. It can affect their careers. It can affect their safety. Ilya Rozanov is from Russia, where it is illegal to be homosexual. And even though he is only bisexual, I'm pretty sure they will still put you in jail for that. And they can't help but fall in love because they fucking care about each other. And I love that. I love watching them fall in love. And my partner, who I'm in the process of convincing him to do a rewatch, and we're going to like record it and talk about it because I want to get under the hood of like why it doesn't affect him the way it affects me. And so I got to get in there and root around. And he's like partially willing, but he's not convinced yet. I'm still trying to, convince him to do a podcast with me called Too Autistic for Movies, where we ruin movie-going experiences because we get hung up on little tiny details that don't matter to anybody else and that don't have to affect our enjoyment of the film. And yet we let it because we have pedantic little brains. Maybe it should be too pedantic for movies. I kind of like Too Autistic for Movies, though, because it very clearly, like, if you know, you know. Like, you know the kind of nitpicky shit that we're going to get into if you are also an autistic who is too autistic for movies. But anyway, back to Heated Rivalry, the show that just broke records at the Canadian, whatever those awards are called, Canadian Film Awards, Canadian something. We'll look it up. It'll appear next to me. Whatever the Canadian BAFTAs are, they got like the most awards that a single production has ever gotten before. So they won like fucking everything. They absolutely swept these awards. And it's kind of giving Schitt's Creek. Like Schitt's Creek walked so Heated Rivalry could run. And I don't think it's crazy that some of the like best and most compelling and affecting queer television has come out of Canada, because America won't let you do that. America still says, and by America, of course, I mean the United States of America. America itself is an entire fucking continent, 2 continents that are connected. It's kind of weird that like North America and South America are two separate continents. Like, what would Pangea say about that? It's like, nuh-uh, they're touching. Like, that's one chip. That's one pretzel. It's connected. So anyway, in the US, you can't have happy queer people. Ew. No, if it was a show out of the US, we would have had Burying Your Gays, and we would have had real bad queer baiting, and we would have had sad endings. But instead, we get love, right? Like we see so much emotional turmoil. We see these two characters, Shane and Ilya, fall in love, deny their love, try to scale up their relationship without giving too much away because they're both afraid that if they're falling, the other one's not falling. And that's going to be horrible and humiliating. And that's going to mean that you lose this thing that's really important to you. So there's this very tentative, slow ass, like a decade of hookups and deep conversations and intimacy. They don't even like say each other's name, like first name during sex until like episode 4. It's last names the whole time because like that's the level of distance that they have from each other. And then the first time they say each other's like first name during sex, Shane freaks out and goes and starts dating a female movie star. And Ilya's like, well, I tried to tell him how I felt. I asked him to stay overnight. I said his name. And he left me. So Ilya's fucking miserable. And Shane's gay as hell, which his girlfriend clocks because she is a theater kid. And she's like, buddy, I think maybe you're gay. And he was like, girl, I really do love sucking a dick. Oh my God. And so she's like, baby, go be free. Go get your man. She doesn't know that he's got a man to go get, but effectively, go get your man. And then they get to reconnect and it's beautiful. And then other terrible, stressful things happen. And as a storyteller and a story coach, conflict, like the rise and fall of conflict and tension in a story, is necessary for a story. Like that is how you raise the emotional stakes. Sometimes it feels artificial, which it is because it is a fictional story that someone is making up and writing down. But in Heated Rivalry, it all feels real. And it feels especially real for queer viewers who have closeted themselves, who have never actually let themselves imagine a future where they can just be out and kiss a same-sex partner and people aren't weird about it. And it's also not just Shane and Ilya. We also get a romance between Scott and Kip, which is the romance from the first book in this series. It's called the Game Changer series, and their book is the first one. It's called Game Changer. And then, I don't know if Heated Rivalry is the second book or if it's like a little bit further in, but Heated Rivalry is where Shane and Ilya, who were background characters in Game Changers, now like take center stage, center ice, if you will. This show's also reminding me how much I actually really enjoy hockey. My high school had a hockey team, and I had a close friend / boy I was uncontrollably in love with and very confused about, who was on the team. And so like I would go to like support him, and then nah, dog, hockey's awesome. I don't know. I like it. I think one thing I really like about it is I don't get sweaty. I hate being sweaty. You don't get sweaty at hockey. It's cold as fuck in there. I kind of love that. Also, the French fries at the ice rink were like some of the best fries I've ever eaten. And this is 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And I'm still thinking about these fries and how good and crispy they were. What the fuck? They're really good fries from just a random ice rink in Strongsville, Ohio. Anyway, I'm going to wrap us up a little bit because I do have to go to work. But I'm going to tell you to watch Heated Rivalry. If you have not, you should watch it. I do need to warn you, it is about 30% gay sex by volume. There's a lot of sex. It is artfully done. Okay, I lied. I'm not done talking about it because I have to talk about the cinematography of this show. The director, Jacob Tierney, is a genius. He's a genius. Every single shot is shot that way on purpose. Nothing is out of place. Nothing is accidental. When Ilya is feeling small, like he's talking to his father, he's dealing with his family, he's worried that he has lost Shane, we get these big wide shots where Ilya is very small in the frame. And that is genius. I'm also learning a lot about the cinematography because I scroll reels about Heated Rivalry for like 2 hours a day, and I just absorb what all these film buff people are telling me. And I'm like, I never even caught that. And then some of them are like, yeah, I did catch that. That's me, I did. But in the book, we get so much more of like Ilya's inner monologue than we do in the show. And that is one thing that is hard to adapt from a book to a movie, because you are in their head in the book. Like if it's a POV, you hear their thoughts, you see what they're thinking, you understand their reactions a little bit better. In a show, you have to show the emotions, the frame of mind. You have to show this in different ways. One way is like those wide shots where Ilya is very small, and this shows how he's feeling. When it is more up close on Shane and Ilya like interacting, Ilya is more like present. He's engaged. You can also see that anytime Shane starts freaking out and like having a panic attack, Ilya will do something either silly or like kind of rude and mean to snap Shane out of it and give him something else to focus on. And like the first watch through, you're like, why is this guy such a dick? And then the second watch through, you see how he regulates Shane and you're like, oh my God, like he's intuitive. He is very aware of Shane's like emotional state and what he needs to be grounded. And I appreciate that. Like he's always looking out for Shane. He's looking out for himself too, because it's dangerous, because Russia, but he loves that boy. I think Ilya fell first, TBH. He is the first one who says, I love you. He says it in Russian several times before he says it in English, which is really adorable because it's like he's like amping himself up to say it. And he's like, okay, if you can say it in Russian, you can say it in English. But it still takes him a minute to get there, because that's terrifying, because that is like the moment that this either officially truly becomes something real or it's over forever. Like if you say, I love you, and this person you have had a secret decade plus relationship with is like, yo, you gotta go. That's devastating. Risking the devastation is love. And that's so fucking raw and it's so fucking real. And I'm obsessed with it. I'm on my third rewatch. I will probably end up rewatching this show so much more than 3 times. And I need you guys to watch it so that you can come talk about it with me. Okay. Special shout out to Kip, who is needlessly buff. Why is that man so ripped? Dear God. Okay, I love you guys. I will see you next week. We're going to talk about more gay stuff because it's Pride Month. And I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.
Don't change your approach and tell you a joke to lighten your load and help you along or sing you a song. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do.